We are in the midst of an energetic war, and I'm going to show you how best to navigate it. So no, I'm not talking about geopolitical warfare. I'm talking about something a little bit more subtle. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but the world is getting rather fragmented. Lots of lines of division are being drawn across two key camps. On one side you have conservative thinking, and on the other side you have more modern liberal thinking. These sides are being played off against one another. Why do I call it a war then? Well, people like you and me are being forced to almost take a side. And in taking a side, we are getting involved in it. And what it's doing, and what it did with me, is it put me in a more negative place, a less peaceful state with more anxiety, and it made me overall less happy, less joyful, and lesser than who I really am. Recently I kind of snapped out of this and had a bit of an epiphany. Why am I letting my internal state, my centre, be corrupted? Why am I letting myself drop? And what is the cause of this? I was previously engaged in this war, emotionally invested in it. And that's what I want to get down to, emotion. So the emotion on both sides is very similar. Move past the arguments of who's right and wrong on both sides, etc., etc. And let's filter down deeper to the underlying emotion that is controlling the actions and the words. The emotion is that of fear, anxiety, and of trying to control the other. Let me extrapolate on both. So for example, on both sides you've got fear of the other. On both sides you have people trying to control what each other's doing. So you could see that the emotional content is actually very similar. I had this uneasy feeling for a while that I was missing something. And now I see that I'd fallen into the trap. Our assailants want us to feel anger, want us to feel fear, and want us to feel anxiety. They especially want us in a place of fear, where we dehumanize other human beings and then use that dehumanization of them, that lessering than, to justify our thoughts and feelings towards them, and our actions towards them sometimes as well. There is a lot of confusion out there, but it's better just to keep it simple. Are you coming from a place of anger, of fear, of anxiety? Or could you instead be coming from a higher place, a place from courage, acceptance, peace, and love? And this isn't airy-fairy stuff. You're not doing this just to benefit others. You're doing this because your existence will be happier. Your day-to-day existence will improve by adopting this, by noticing this and starting to shift your internal state to a more positive place. Our assailants wish for us to be fearful because in a state of fear we are more easy to manipulate, and we are more easy to control, and we are definitely more easy to predict. Let's use another emotion as an example, anger. One of the greatest boxers of all time, Muhammad Ali, used to use anger to his benefit. He would get in his opponent's heads pre-fight, and he would assault them with his words and get them to a point where they're incandescent, they're super angry. So he knows whatever game plan they're working on with their coaches is going to go out the window, because they're just going to want to knock his head off. Therefore he can predict what they're going to do, and he's manipulated them into doing it. If boxers and people like this are using these types of tactics, what do you think massive entities are doing? It's child's play to them. So what I'm asking you all to do is do what I've done. Disengage, detach from it all. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And I would say, embody the peace that you wish to see in the world. Be it. Because the outer world is really a reflection of our accumulative inner state. And the more and more of us that raise our energy level, that raise our vibration level to that space of being predominantly in courage, acceptance, and peace, the more that the vibration of the planet will rise, and the more that things will change. Our inner world reflects the outer. It's a very hard thing to realize because we've not been taught that reality works that way. But as I've gotten older, I've started to realize that more and more it actually does. And the best, most productive thing you can do is to let it go. So how do you let it go? Well, Lester Levinson said, allow the other their beingness. See them as a sovereign being, and they are allowed to do as they are allowed to do. It does not mean you do not act, but when you do act, you're not acting emotionally. You're not lowering your state. You can actually still say what you wish to say. It's just not going to have the same emotional content behind it, and it will be coming from a higher space and place. My goal with this channel is to shine a spotlight on things like this that can be a little bit more subtle. Now, some people may not like the approach that I've taken to this. They may have many, many different opinions on this and think that, oh, you're just going to let them do whatever they want to do. But if you don't fight back, you don't want to do. Look, it's all coming from your mind. All of these arguments are coming from your mind, from your thought. And if you look at the emotional content underneath everything that you may have just said, where are you coming from? Are you coming from a place of peace? Or are you being manipulated? Are you actually coming from a place of discontent, of fear, of anger, of a want and need to control others and what they are doing? Remember, be the change that you wish to see in the world. This is the Warrior of God.